Okay, welcome. Gosh, it's I live in Toronto. I work nationally, but we've got quite the weather happening outside in Toronto. It's been snowing and now there's a nice storm. I'm all cozy and I hope you are too. You know, I I was having my dinner and I had this brainwave. I'm going to change it up tonight. So I put some new slides in. So here's what I want to say. If you're back for another conversation with Sheila about promoting to team coordinator, you're going to notice some new things. And if you're new and this is your first time on the call, gosh, I welcome your feedback. I really work hard to give you value for your time. And so I hope that that's what I accomplish on these webinars. I also want to put a special welcome out. I had Demario. Demario works for me. I'm the senior director for new consultant development and leadership for North America. And Demario does the new consultant calls. So last night I was speaking to him. I said, Demario, I got a wild and crazy idea. Go back to some of the new consultants that have responded to the emails we send after our new consultant call. See if any of them are curious to hop on a team coordinator promote to call, invite them to the call tonight. So I know that some of you on my call tonight are really new. Like maybe you've been doing Norwex all of 6 weeks. Welcome. Here's what I want to say. Tonight I want to give you good value and I want to help you build your business. I'm going to talk about promoting to team coordinator, but maybe in a way that will energize you. And at the very least, because I'm a firm believer that any leadership, and we can talk about leadership in Norwex, any leadership starts with personal leadership. And the best way in Norwex we demonstrate personal leadership is with our personal business. So I focus on your personal business. And that's just good stuff for everybody, no matter what level you are as a consultant or leader in Norwex. I cover a lot of basic good stuff. So I'm glad you're with me and I hope you'll hang in for the evening. Oh, Evelina says it worked. I'm here just because of Demario. Well done. I'll have to tell him. Chris says I'm here 1 week. Michelle says, yes, me too. That's what I did. I checked my email. Jackie, can you hear me? Jackie says, I can't hear you. Wow, this is fabulous. You're all very excited. Okay. I'm telling you, this is beautiful. All right, let's get started. So I asked you all to grab a pen and paper, and I hope you've got a pen and paper in front of you because we're going to need it in a minute. Okay, so that's me. Okay, Sheila Hercules. That's what I look like. Well, I don't really look like that anymore. My hair's blonde, but you get the idea. All right. Something wild and crazy. You have probably heard the power of duplication. And I've been known to, on some of my training calls, ask people to really, you don't get to see, it was, Danielle, it was a picture of me on the screen. I sometimes have been known to ask a crazy question. Here it is. I'll say, gosh, I'll give you $100,000 right now, or I will give you a dollar a day doubled. Most people, if they don't think too hard, say, oh, give me the 100,000. Let me take that money and run. I got no time to wait. I want to show you what is called the power of duplication. It's pretty quick. So day 1 is $1. Day 2 is $2. You can see how it's going. Look. Okay, day 7, it's $64. It's not that much, is it? And we go to day 8, 128. Oh, it's getting a little better, right? Remember, it's everything's just doubled in a day. Because some people want the 100,000 right away. They don't have patience. Everything is instant. Give it to me now. I don't want to have to figure this out. I don't want to have to work for it. Just give me the money now. But those that hung on and said, Sheila, let's see what happens to $1 a day doubled. Gosh, within 2 weeks, you're already at $8,000. And day 15, day 16. Oh my gosh, by day 18, we're over $100,000. Now, some people wanted $100,000 on day one. They weren't going to hang out for 3 weeks. Nope, immediate. Day 19, day 20, $500,000. Day 21, over $1 million. Crazy, eh? It's kind of like life. Some of us want something instant, and yet we don't realize that if we were patient or that we gave up too soon, we have no idea what could be in our future because we wanted it now. We wanted it this instant. Jackie, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Jackie says she can't hear me. See, I can multitask. Oh, Jackie, it's on your end. Everybody can hear me. Well, the good news is, people, I can run a slideshow and monitor questions all at the same time and still make great sense, eh? Okay, I love to giggle. I love to have a good time. You're probably wondering, Sheila, why just show us the math equation? That was pretty powerful, wasn't it? I mean, I'm going to talk about it in terms of leadership, but I'm also a mom. I'm also a sister, a daughter, a wife, a friend. The whole idea of, well, I want it and I want it now and it better be great on day one. Well, a lot of leaders in Norwex, the ones whose names you will come to see, they're the ones that cross the stage at our conference. They're the pictures you might see in our impressions. They're the people that we admire because we know that they have a large team. And we also know that with that large team comes a very large income. We would be kidding ourselves if I said to you, well, after my call tonight, you're all going to be millionaires. Well, that's kind of crazy. It's an investment. Leadership to me is an investment. I put a quote from Simon Sinek, I think yesterday on my Facebook page. Something about, it was so good and I forget it. Something about, the bottom line was that leadership was about growing others, whereas something that doesn't make sense. Look, I'm being a squirrel right now. It was a great quote, trust me. It alluded to the fact that as leaders and self-leadership, leaders in our own homes, leaders in our community, we have to have some patience. We have to believe that we have a plan and it's an investment in people, but mostly it's an investment in you and your energy and effort. Okay? And I wanted this to be very powerful because some of you on the call tonight probably wanted the $100,000. I'm sure of it. Most of you might have said, no, I'm going to see where she's going. It's got to be a gimmick if she's asking us. And so you said, I'm going to hang on. But some of you said, I'll just take the 100,000 now. Give me the sure thing. That's human nature, right? No, the best way to succeed is to help someone. Thank you, Jill. It was kind of like that. Gosh, you know what? Somebody can go onto my Facebook and look under Sheila Hercules. It was posted, and then you can tell us all. So, but anyways, here's what I want to say. I want you to imagine, this is when your paper and pencil is going to come into play. Before we get down to anything, I want you to envision for just a moment. Pretend with me. Pretend you're 5 years old and your imagination is crazy. And nobody's going to tell you you can't do it or that's a silly idea. So here's my little thing. I just gave you a company. You have got a building, if you want, or your kitchen table, but I have given you a company. It's called Hercules Heroes. It's now your company. I've given it to you. You are now the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. Like you're the boss. You're the big guy, the big gal. What I didn't give you was any help. You got to figure that out. You need to hire 3 people right away. You need a team. You got a big business to run. You can't do it all yourself. And you need to hire 3 people right away to help you run this big business that you have. Because as CEO, we often talk about it as Chief Executive Officer. I like to think that CEO stands for contributing to the empowerment of others or creating experiences for others. So what I want you to do is think of 3 people. And here you go. I don't want you to think too hard about it. I want you to write down on a piece of paper 3 people, their names, and why would you hire them. Go. You don't have to tell me your answers, but you need to write it down so you won't forget this. Thank you, Evelina. Thank you, thank you. Okay, 3 people. And you need to know why. Why would you hire them? So I'll give you an example. I'd hire my friend Jill because Jill is straightforward. She's a very good friend of mine. She's a little cautious. And when I get wild and crazy, Jill always knows how to help me stay calm. All right? I would hire my friend Heather Story because Heather's smarter than me in many ways. And she's really, really good with people. And then I might hire Marty. Couple of reasons. Marty is one of my best friends too. Actually, I'm giving you real people in my life, by the way, just so you know. I'd hire Marty because A, I know Marty needs the money, but B, Marty has a genuine servant's heart. People are naturally drawn to Marty. They adore Marty when they meet her because she's just pure and good. And that's why I'd hire Marty. So I hope you have all done it. That's as long as it should take you. That's as long as it should take you. Now, Evelina was such a wonderful gal. She went back and found my quote on Facebook, so I got to share it with you. Ambition is refusing to quit on ourselves. Leadership is refusing to quit on others. Bazinga! Is that not brilliant? Ambition is refusing to quit on ourselves. Ambition is personal. Leadership is refusing to quit on others. Ooh, that's good. All right. So you've got your 3 people. Great. Put that aside for a minute. Put that aside. I hope you're all done. All right. Now, what I just challenged you to do, assuming I gave you this pretend company called Hercules Heroes, you could probably think of 3 people right away. And like me, you probably had some very good reasons. I gave you some personal reasons. That Jill is the yin to my yang, that Heather is smart, and Marty has a servant heart. You probably did the same. And now in Norwex, we're going to switch gears just a little bit. You have the very same opportunity with something that you can create, that you are creating as a leader who has a company, if you will, because you are the CEO of your own company. You are creating experiences for others. You are contributing to the empowerment of others through Norwex. And so my challenge now, and they may be the same three people. They may be people that you've put on a Frankie list. They may be a customer. They may be a potential host. They may be an acquaintance or a neighbor or a good friend. Without overthinking it, now do the same for your Norwex business. Gosh, and this is where you're going to get, some of you are going to get a little choked up. You're going to say, Sheila, when I envisioned I had $1 million company that you just gave me, it was easy for me to think of people I'd hire because I felt like I had something to offer them. You said it was a big, great, good company. But geez, if it's all up to me, inviting 3 people to join me in Norwex and come build my company, if you will, I don't know about that because I don't know what I can promise them. Well, guess what? You're not going to promise them anything. You're going to empower them. You're going to give them an opportunity to say yes or no, but you're not going to promise them anything, just like you wouldn't promise a vice president of marketing a huge salary if they didn't produce any work. So all I wanted you to do was transfer what you felt was easy to do when we pretended into what can be, if you're willing. So what do you think? What do you think? Can you all hear me? Oh, good. How was that exercise? Any eye openers? Or some of my comments, which I've been known to be pretty, I'm simply Sheila. That's my tagline. Simply Sheila. It's funny, isn't it? For those of you, okay, for a moment, because my call's very honest. I think I'm incredibly transparent. I'd also like to think I'm very motivating, but I'm very transparent. So I speak from my heart, no script. For some of you, the reason it was easy, I think, to think of 3 people for our fake Hercules Hero company was that you had a belief that it was a great company because I told you it was. But when it was up to you and it was your company, now with Norwex, you were a little hesitant maybe because you maybe weren't sure. What would I be inviting someone to join me on? So I'm going to challenge you to think about how you feel about the role of a Norwex consultant. Whether you've been with us 2 days, 2 months, 2 years, are you or do you see how being a Norwex consultant is a role to be proud of? Do you feel the work you do, collectively we all do, is good and noble and is done with integrity? And do you believe, whether or not it's with Norwex, do you believe that society in North America has overused and over-relied on chemicals that are not good for us? So our message is relevant. Do you believe in the value of getting people together, whether it's on Facebook, Squee, belly to belly around a kitchen table, a few people sitting around a coffee shop? Do you believe that most people discover a value of learning from a Norwex consultant that there are other options that families can choose when it comes to taking care of their family and their home, that speaks more to a wellness lifestyle than one dependent and reliant on chemicals that time and time again are proving to bring us more harm than good? I want you to think about that. The role of a consultant. This document that you're looking at is everything in a nutshell, in a complete nutshell. This is everything for promoting to a team coordinator. In fact, I'm going to send this to you with the recording of our call. But for those of you who are on your computer and pretty savvy, down at the bottom under handouts, I've put this here for you to drag and drop onto your computer so you'll have it right away. How's that? Bazinga. And I'm going to refer back to it, but I'm going to ask you a few more questions. Remember I said to you, I spent some time before this call and I decided to change things up. All right? And those of you who have been with me before, you're free to tell me I like the old style better, or I like this, or you might say, Sheila, whatever you do, I like, okay? But I'm going to move off of this slide. I'll come back to it, I promise you, because I have more work for you to do. You don't have to answer me. I want you to write on that same piece of paper. And it does not have to be fancy, because there ain't nobody you're impressing with your answers. And grammar doesn't count, and neither does spelling. Why did you join Norwex? Was it because, and maybe the first response is, I can't remember why, because I did it for a joke. Okay, so if that was the case, then maybe change it to why did I stay with Norwex, maybe? So why did I join Norwex? Look, I get it. For some of you, it was the discount. Yep, that's an honest answer. For some of you, you felt that you wanted to earn money. For some of you, you needed a better social life. I don't care what it is. I just want you to write down on a piece of paper, why did you join Norwex? If the reason you joined is not true today, then write down why you stayed. I'll give you an example. I joined Norwex because my girlfriend made me feel bad and pressured me. Honest answer. Okay, well, that's a good reason to join, I suppose, but that certainly can't explain why you're still here today, because you're not working to impress your friend, are you? Of course not, Sheila. That's a dumb thing. Okay, so why are you staying? Because I actually love what I do, and I discovered that Norwex, is important to me because it's a way for me to make money, or blah, blah, blah. Okay, you got that question down? Okay. Now I got another question for you. What do you love about Norwex? You can answer with a bunch of words. You can put down 10 things. What do you love? What do you love? What do you love? Everything that you love. Do you love the product? Do you love the discount? Do you love the incentives? Do you love your upline? Do you love your team? Do you love the company? Do you love the Facebook? Do you love the Impressions newsletter? Do you love reading about it on the back office? Do you love all the facts Amy Cadora puts out? Do you love the training? What do you love? Do you love the people it's brought into your life? Do you love your customers? Do you love your hosts? Do you love owning your own business? Do you love your independence? Do you love getting out of the house a few nights doing Norwex? Do you love the support? Do you love the opportunity to join calls and hear from a live person? What do you love? Write it all down. Do you love that it's helped you live a chemical-free life? For some of you, do you love the answers that Norwex has given you in your life right now? Do you love that maybe like myself, I used to have eczema on my hands. It happened after my third pregnancy. Well, maybe it's because I was using too many chemicals. I have no eczema. I don't have to use any cortisone cream on my hands anymore. I don't have eczema on my hands. I love that. And that's because of Norwex. Maybe there's a young mom on the call tonight. And maybe when her newborn baby came home from the hospital, she didn't know about Norwex, and she went to the store and bought all the beautiful baby laundry detergent, and her baby had a little bit of a rash, and she realized that there was bad stuff in all of that stuff they claim is good for babies that makes them smell like little baby powder all the time. So she decided to wash her clothes in Norwex laundry detergent, and the rash went away. Maybe that's what she loves about Norwex. Okay, enough on that one. Now I'm going to give you another question. What is it that makes Norwex important to you? It's one thing to love it, right? I'll give you an example. I love chocolate-covered almonds. I think they taste fabulous, but they're not important to me. I'll eat them if they're in the house, and I love them when they are, but they are not important to me. There's a difference between what you love about something and what makes it important. Sometimes, like, I love my house. I love my house more than anything. Why is it important to me? I've created my own safe haven, both chemical-free, and I happen to think it's pretty and it feels like me. It's an expression of me as a mom and a wife, and I feel comfortable in my home. It's incredibly important to me. So not only do I love my home, it's important to me. And I love chocolate-covered almonds, but they're not important to me. So some of what you love about Norwex, you can love it. It just may not be important to you. So now I want you to know what makes Norwex important to you. There's got to be value there. All right. And now I have the last question. Do you think that there are others who might feel the same way as you? I didn't say would for sure. I said might. 99.9% of you have to answer that question with a yes. So you know where I'm going now, don't you? Because you're all pretty smart and you got me figured out, don't you? You know where I'm going. I have just given you everything you need to intentionally start building your team. Let me put it another way. What's missing? What have I missed? I don't believe I've missed a thing, actually, and it's okay to challenge me. That's the other thing about Sheila Hercules. I never said I was perfect. I just said I was real. I'm challenging you, and I'm saying I have given you now in this call, you have been with me for 30 minutes. And truly, I've given you everything. I'm going to help you put it together, but I've given you everything you need to begin intentionally building a team of 3, developing your leadership skills, and making an investment for a long-term relationship. Let's go back a few slides. Oh, this is always the hardest to do, is to go back on these things. Okay. Let's refresh ourselves. Whoops. There we go. I'm faster than the screen you see. You are the CEO. You create experiences for others. You contribute to the empowerment of others. You are the chief executive officer. And you will always have the luxury of inviting as many people to join you on your team, your new company. My first challenge, because we tend to overthink this, we rationalize it too much. It's funny, you did not need as much time. And so when I said it was a fake company, you didn't rationalize it because you didn't have a sense of ownership. You didn't have the same sense of ownership. I was handing you a company. It was easy for you to pick 3 people and you would have been excited. Man, have I got something great for you. You owe me, na boo boo. I got something good for you. I'm going to make you vice president of my new company. We got all giddy and excited. And yet you had no idea what it was you were going to even share with them. It was because I told you it was a great company. But the moment you became the CEO, you hesitated for a moment because you overthought it. And so to help you think, I challenged your belief on the role of a consultant and the role of your personal experience. Why you joined Norwex, what you love about Norwex, what makes it important to you, understanding there's a difference between what you love and what's important. And did you think that anyone else might feel the same way? So that document that I said I would go back to is what I want you to use as your journey map to becoming a team coordinator. You have a place for 3 people. Use pencil in case somebody turns you down. And it is okay if they say no. Oh, for goodness sakes, don't start taking no's personally. Why start now in your life? I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but let's just say I'm going to tell you I'm over 40. Okay? So if I was on this call, I'm going to pretend I was listening to my own call. And all of a sudden I said, well, if somebody says no, I'm going to get really offended, and that's me. I'm shutting down for good now because somebody said no, and that offends me so much, hurts my feelings so much. I can't handle a no in my life from someone. I'm done. Well, guess what? I'm over 40. I'm not going to let one person who tells me, no, thanks, it's not the right time for me. I don't buy that. I don't buy well, what if they say no? I'm so embarrassed. Oh my goodness. In my 40 plus years, I have been told no many times, whether it was from my parents, whether it was from my spouse or my kids or my friends or my coworkers or my boss or somebody at the grocery store or somebody at a restaurant. Thank you. Can I get this without? No, sorry, it comes with. Right? So big deal. Somebody says no. That's why I told you to use a pencil. It's not for everybody. It's for most people, but it's not for everybody. Norwex is not for everybody. And everybody is not for Norwex. There you go. So I've given you some considerations on the people that you might want to consider inviting, much like when I told you I'd hire my friend Marty because she has a heart of gold. I would hire her for Norwex if I was doing this exercise because I think people with a heart of gold do very well at this business because they're genuine and they come from a place of integrity. They are people that other people love to do business with because there's an immediate sense of trust. Bazinga! And so identifying 3 to 5 people you know. You've got things like hosts and customers in your Frankie list, and you write their names in pencil so you can start visualizing your team. And I'm going to go through the rest of the tools. So we're at the halfway mark. You know, I said it's kind of interactive. How am I doing so far? Are you glad you got on this call with me? Is it worth your time? Good. Thank you. Thank you. See, because I work for you. I work for you. Right? You get the real deal with me right from the heart. And there might be one person who says, Hercules, I just don't like your style, but you know, you can't win everybody. No, I'm just teasing. And I got a great sense of humor. Okay. Good. Now I know that you're with me when I get you to respond to me. It's how I make sure you're not doing the dishes. No, I'm teasing. I love that. I love that you're interacting with me. That's beautiful. So now I'm going to give you some skills. The first place we're going to look, and remember I said to you, hey, if you're pretty new and gosh, Sheila, I'm not sure I jumped on this call because I want to be a TC, but Demario did the new consultant call, sent me an email. He's got me curious. And gosh, you know, now I see where Demario gets it from. And so I promised you that I would help you with your business because true leadership is self-leadership. So I'm going to talk about the party. So I don't know what most of you have as a goal, but I can tell you if you want a good business that gives you a reliable, predictable income, you got to be doing more than one party a month. And yeah, we'll call it a business if you want to send out emails with your website and collect orders. We'll call it a business, but in my mind, it's very passive. It helps share Norwex, so you're doing really good. Don't misunderstand. You're doing good work. But it's minimal effort. You know, you send out an email, hey, everybody, this month such and such is on sale. Don't forget to put your order through on my website, and there you go. You know, great little business. You just earned a few dollars. If that's all you want, then you're doing things right. But if you want a little bit more and you want a predictable, reliable income and your business, it has momentum. Think of it this way. I'm sure most of you go to a dentist at some point, or maybe some of you go to a dentist or you get your hair done. Two things that I think are pretty reasonable. You ever notice when you walk out of the dentist, before you can leave the building, they're already booking you in for your next checkup? Notice that? Do you notice that the hairdressers, if you call on a Saturday, you can't get an appointment, usually? And if you had a big New Year's Eve thing, you best be booking it in October. And many times if it's your hairdresser and she's yours and you're her client, doesn't she always say, Mary, you know I book up fast. You better book me for your next color job, right? Because when a dentist and a hairdresser open up their book and they don't have any appointments, they are unemployed. A real estate agent, if a real estate agent has no houses that they are listing for sale, they're an unemployed real estate agent. They got nothing to show. A dentist who has no appointments doesn't need to come into work today. He's unemployed. A hairdresser who has nobody coming in for a cut and style is unemployed. A Norwex consultant that doesn't have any parties on her calendar is unemployed. The idea of having something where you turn over a new month and you see a party, or you turn over a new week and you see a party, that feels good. Nobody ever quits when they got business on the books. Does that make sense? So I want to show you why I think if you were to ask me, now remember, I am not telling you what to do. I understand life. Oh, let me tell you. Sometimes life throws us the biggest curveball, knocks us right on our behind. You don't think in my 40 plus years, mother of 4 boys, married for a long time, has my mother living with me, works this crazy job, and has been in this industry for 35 years. You think my life's been easy? So I get it. Some months are better than others. But if you and I were having a coffee and you said to me, Sheila, let's pretend I got no curveballs coming my way. All right. What would you recommend as a good business? You know what I would tell you? 3 to 4 parties a month. Actually, I might use a different word than parties. I might tell you 3 or 4 part-time shifts in a month. Ideally, 1 shift a week, just like any other part-time job. I think of them in terms of a shift. You know, it's my Norwex part-time job, 4 shifts per month. I'm going to show you why. If you do 1 party, and if you're fortunate, you might be in front of 10 people. There might be 10 guests at the party. There could only be 5. Now, sidebar note, I would do a party for 1 person. I would do a party for 2 people. I never believe in getting so comfortable with large numbers and huge profit that it is above me to ever do a party for 2 people. Sales are $200 and I still walked out making $60 and still walked out knowing I made a difference to 2 people, because I will never know the value and how that comes back to me. Call it karma. You put out good karma comes back. You go to a party for 2 people, and before you know it, that led to a party with 10 people, and from there it led to a $500 customer order, and somebody joined your team. Everything is interconnected. I say that tongue in cheek. When I'm speaking with more senior leaders who have been in this industry a bit longer, I tease them about having done a $1,000 party and they've made $350 in one night. That is a lot of good money. It's almost outrageous, in my humble opinion. And what happens when you start having a lot of big parties like that is you start thinking that, gosh, I don't know if I go out of my house for 150. LOL, LOL. So I want you to also hear that from me. So going back to my diagram, 10 guests, maybe 5, but let's hope for 10. You're in front of 10 people. If you try to get bookings from those parties, you know, every month it's like you're starting over again, having to learn the flow of your party. Will you get a booking or 2? Maybe, maybe not. Recruiting packages. If you're not bringing your A game because you feel out of sorts, you're going to be more worried about how to do your party, the flow, how to explain the product, because you hope that it's good sales. The last thing you're thinking about is, well, gosh, how could I bring somebody else onto this business? I'm not having a whole lot of success with it. And so the potential to have any conversations and follow up with somebody who might be interested is pretty unlikely. That doesn't mean that good things don't happen from one party. All right? Crystal, I'll answer your question at the end, okay? So 2 parties. It's easy to see how opportunities start picking up. You're in front of 20 people. You're in a bit more of a groove, aren't you? You may get a team member having 2 parties a month. Well, are you in a groove yet? Probably not in a groove. Probably not in a groove, but you're getting there, right? What happens when you bump it up to 3 a month? Well, we're using the same 10, give or take, so it could be 5, 10, it could be, so I'm thinking you might be in front of 30 people. Wow. And when you've got 3 parties and you start looking at the number of guests at your parties or your bookings, well, you start to look at, well, how can I influence that? You know, do I need to focus on more bookings in my calendar? Should I be a little more attentive with my host coaching? Is that maybe why my attendance isn't optimum? And then when you're in the groove of your parties and you're comfortable, it's more natural to start thinking about, whew, the pressure's off. I got this. I got to remember to let everyone know I've got available dates for next month so that I'm employed next month. So you drop in some booking seeds and you become intentional on getting some bookings. And as that starts to work really well, you're really getting into your groove now. Gosh, I got the bookings thing. I'm getting really comfortable with that. So now I'm going to try my hand at, and hey, maybe somebody would like to join my team. So you start dropping recruiting seeds and you hope to be able to hand out something so that you can follow up with people. And before you know it, you start having these potential conversations. We'll call them interviews. And you work on your skill of follow-up, and let's call it interview. The same interview you had. It was a great conversation about you and the fit for Norwex for you. And you might just have a team member. And when you start doing about 1 a week, now, as the saying goes, you're cooking with gas. Because there's a flow. Your confidence is at its all-time high. That's because your knowledge and confidence will always come from doing, not from reading and knowing. Let me say it again. Your confidence and skill will always come from doing, not from reading and knowing. You can read a lot about the product. You can read about how people do parties. You can watch other people do parties. And you'll learn. And you'll have knowledge. But your experience and your confidence will only ever come from you walking it out. Does that make sense? And it's confidence that builds your skill. And confidence comes from doing. Your skill naturally builds as you get more confident in yourself and more confident in the reliability of your business. The chart that you see in front of you, actually, the green portion on the right-hand side is really the skill set. The skill set. So I hope this makes sense to all of you. And you can't, there's a saying, and it's a saying, so I don't want anyone sending me a nasty note because I don't eat elephants, just so you know. But they say if you want to eat an elephant, you can't eat it all at once. You do it one bite at a time, right? So if I'm looking at your parties for you, helping you, I've told you what I think 3 to 4 is a really good number. For a lot of reasons. Mostly it's to develop your confidence because you're being consistent, right? And the first place to look is really the first, if you think about it, if we were to, I'm going to use a highlighter, if we were to just focus on, okay, Sheila, I joined this call, I want to get better at what I do. The first place to look is bookings. What does your calendar look like? If your calendar isn't where you want it to be, then this is your number one focus. Once your bookings are where you're content, I didn't say over the moon, right? You got 3 on the books, let's say February, you got 3 for March. You then start to make sure that you do set aside time for host coaching. Your role in host coaching is to make sure that your host feels really comfortable doing business with you, that you will guide her. Not everybody knows what host coaching means. Oh, would you like to do a Norwex party for me? Sure. Great, I'll host coach you. She has no idea. It's almost as if we should call it party planning. You know, hey, Mary, when I said we'll get together around your kitchen table and let me talk about Norwex with your friends and family. Let's help them create safe havens. Well, Mary, that doesn't mean I want you to put on a 4-course meal. So please, no lasagna, no salad. Don't get your mother to make tiramisu. Put on a pot of coffee, please, and a plate of chocolate chip cookies if you feel you need to. And we'll just sit around your kitchen table. You don't need to put out your good crystal and linen. Okay? It's not a baptism, Mary. It's a Norwex coffee chat. That's what host coaching is. Host coaching is also when you call a week before the party and she says, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you called, Sheila. Only 2 people are coming. Well, if I had no experience, I'd panic. I'd say, oh my gosh, I was counting on that party. I'm thinking to myself, that's how I was getting new shoes. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh. Nope, the Sheila that understands. Mary, that's great. You got 2 people already? Gosh, let me see. 2 people, you and me. We're already up to 4. Look, we got a week out. How many kitchen chairs around your kitchen table? 6. Great. You got 2 already. I'll stand if you want to sit. Great. But can you fill 3 more seats? What other 3 people do you want to give a call to? Okay. Yeah, it melts like butter off my mouth. I've been doing this a long time, but you get my gist. Did I panic? No. No. And I didn't say, oh, that's too bad. I just offered her a solution that makes her feel as good as I feel. And then when I feel like I know what I'm doing with my host coaching, I can really focus on getting bookings while I'm at the party, sharing my available dates, using booking seats, because the best, easiest place to book a party is while you're at a party. And I want to make sure that I give equal time to the other service I offer. You see, a Norwex consultant, there's 3 experiences your audience can have with you, right? You know the first 2 really well. They're sitting in front of you. You hope they want to become a customer. That's an experience. I could say to you, if you were at my party, tonight I offer you all the experience of what it feels like to use Norwex. You're going to play with the products, and I invite you to consider becoming a Norwex customer, a Norwex user. And I also encourage any of you who are thinking right now about people that you just need to know about this stuff, like your sister and your mother and your next door neighbor. Good news, I've got my calendar with me. I've got a lot of available dates for coffee chats just like this. Let's make sure we book in a visit with you. Those are 2 experiences, and we're pretty good at talking about those in our own way. What about the last experience that is what I want to draw your attention to? You might call it recruiting seeds. What if it was as simple as, and the other experience for most of you, for some of you tonight, might be the experience that's brought me the biggest joy, being involved with Norwex, really aligning myself with our company mission, doing good work in our community by educating families just like mine about different choices that we can make and how that can impact our family. I'm talking about joining my team. Is that not the 3rd experience we offer? We offer people a chance to use it, buy it. We call it selling, become a customer. We offer people the experience to share it. We call that hosting. Well, what about those who want to get involved? We call that recruiting. And once you're confident, you become really good at this. And you really start making sure that you do have those intentional conversations at the party. So you're booking, if you will, potential follow-up conversations. And from those follow-up conversations, it kind of sounds like an interview, but it's really just a great conversation. what happens is, just like you had a new customer, a new host, you now start having new team members. Okay, again, time for some interaction. What did you think? Was that a mic drop or what? I'm teasing you. I must be in a very lively mood. I think the wind is getting to my head tonight, eh? What did you think? I'd love to know, was this a worthwhile exercise? Beautiful. Beautiful. And remember, I don't eat um, I don't eat elephants. All right. Jackie, I'll get to that. Yep. So somebody wrote in and I'd like to answer it. I'd like to answer it. Okay. This is I got the wrong one out. Hold on, questions. Okay. Let me go back up. Just had a party of 15 people, only 4 orders and no bookings. Does this, got to open it up. Does this happen sometimes? Crystal, yes. Sometimes you'll have a party with 2 people. You'll walk into seeing 2 people. A host actually has 3 outside orders and somebody wants to book. Sometimes, and I don't know this to be absolute, I just food for thought, Crystal. Sometimes when there's 15 people, it's only my personal humble opinion. Sometimes it gets a little chaotic. It becomes so much more social than it was educational, or that it was a Norwex event in which people could learn about Norwex and shop with you. Sometimes there's like that magic number if we think of human behavior for a moment. Sometimes there's 2 people at a party, let's say. It's fair to say that I'm sure both those people feel a little pressured to make a purchase. I'm just calling it like it is. The same time, when there's 15, everybody looks at everybody and says, well, I don't have to buy anything. There's so many people here. She won't notice. And the bookings. Crystal, what I would do if I were you, those were just my candid opinions. Go back and examine for yourself. Was it, if you were rating yourself on your own party presentation, was it your best? Was there anything, if you know now, would you have done something different? Did you feel like you sort of lost control of the crowd, so to speak? Did you show too many products? Just things that I want you to focus on. You did nothing wrong, and the guests weren't wrong. It's just how it happened, and it's okay. Now, where you get your opportunity, and this is something that maybe has some value. What's really, okay. So I got some comments. You are right. Small groups are easier. Someone said, agreed, a French corrector. Thank you, Chantal Servant. Merci beaucoup. Je ne parle pas le français, un petit peu. LOL. Okay. Angela says, agreed. I had a party of 3 people and all 3 ordered. Large parties get chatty and sidetracked. Okay, and there are some who'd say, I love large parties. I can take them all. What about this, though? Let's look at it. It's happened, right? So what my recommendation is, you need to call the host coaching, thank her for a great evening. Let her know that for those that placed an order, you're going to ensure that they have great service. And you're going to, go through the host, all the wonderful things that she received and thank her. You may not have anyone else's information because of the way the party went. So a learning might be that when you first come onto a party that is that large, just an idea I might do. Number one, I would never give out a catalog. That's just me personally. Nobody gets a catalog till I'm done talking. Joke, joke. I don't want to compete with the catalog. But I might give out index cards or order forms, but index cards. I might ask people to put on their index card their name, today's date, okay, and the best way to get in touch with them. And I would tell them that these cards are a way for me to help with answers, that I don't have all the answers. I don't know everything there is to know. But these are called my question and answer cards. And I also want a comment after the party. What was the one thing they learned? The one thing that they learned. You see, it doesn't look like an order form. It's a card, and it's to help me be a better consultant, isn't it? I want to answer their questions, and I want to know what's the one aha moment they had. Those I would collect at the end of the party. So with or without an order, I have a way to thank people. So here's a card from Mary. Mary put down her biggest aha was, I don't know, what's a big aha? Something, okay? But she didn't place an order. I'm not calling Mary to say, Mary, why didn't you place an order? I'm saying, hi, Mary. It's a couple of days later. It's Sheila from Norwex, from Jane's party. I just want to thank you so much for coming that night. I had a lot of fun, and I just want to say thank you. You wrote a lovely aha moment about straws, and I love to know that gosh, I am making a difference when I share information and that it has some impact. I'm sure, like me, you'll start thinking about every time you go somewhere and somebody hands you a plastic straw. So that's fabulous. And lastly, I just want to know if I could keep you on my potential Norwex list. You know, maybe this wasn't the right time, or Norwex didn't kind of strike your fancy, but I'd like to know if I could follow up with you for future business. Bazinga, mic drop. Do you like that idea? Did that help you? Okay. And Angela says that she does something similar with a drawing added at the end for a free mini Enviro. Oh, I like that idea. A free mini Enviro. Oh, yes, because you buy the small travel pack at less 35%, or you might have earned it on a shopping spree and it costs you very little. Love that. Chantel says, why no catalog during the presentation? I got to answer that one too. Chantel, here's why. If it's all about the Safe Haven 5 or a free window cloth, Crystal says. Free window cloth. And I love that. Give them a polishing cloth. They need the Enviro cloth. They definitely got to buy that to go with it. Okay. So why no catalog during my presentation? When I would do my, I don't do parties. I've been in this industry for 35 years. I just want you to know I don't compete with you. I don't do Norwex parties. I'm telling you what I would do. And was my style when I was doing parties in other companies when I was a consultant, is I like to talk and eyeball people and have conversation. And because ours is demo specific, right? In other words, you bring a certain number of products, Safe Haven 5, and everybody's interactive demoing. I don't want them looking through the catalog and making judgments about price and overlooking things. I would rather give out the catalog after my presentation, just me, my own personal choice. And in my catalog would be the order form and 2 business cards. And whatever was the customer special and a host page, I would probably, now remember, if you're only doing 4 parties a month, it's 40 catalogs. I'd really personalize my catalogs. So 2 business cards, an order form, and then I would fold funny or use Post-it notes to draw attention to what is the customer special and the host page. I would think of my catalog the same way I would think of my store if I owned a store. So here we go. When I pass out the catalog, I would say you'll notice that inside your catalog, I have given you 2 business cards. One is for you to keep so that you know you can always get in touch with me. I'm not going anywhere. I'm serious and I'm committed to my business. And I want to earn your loyalty. The second card is you might discover over the next couple of days when you meet someone who you would love to refer me to. Make sure you invite them to your party, but you may also want to give them a card. Ooh, I like that. I like that. And the customer order form, I would have highlighted the 3 areas on the customer order form with a funky magic marker. The part that says, would they like to, join, host, and of course their email address. I would then say, and I've personalized the order form because there's some important information that would help me do my job better to serve you. How to get in touch with you, to know where you stand on your interest in having a get-together like the one we're doing tonight, and for those of you who might want to get involved with Norwex like myself. And the catalog is like my store. And I encourage you to browse up and down the aisles, but we're going to go to a few critical pages. The first one is the Safe Haven 5 page, which is what I showed you tonight, blah, blah, blah. Then I want you to focus on what is our customer special this month, blah, blah, blah. And I also want you to see what our host program looks like, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I would do it. Okay? So we have gone over our time tonight, and partly that is because I did a different format. And the truth is I could talk for 2 more hours because there's so much I want to say and share. But if we go back to why we got on this phone call tonight, it was all about becoming a team coordinator. You and 3 people, and all of you in the same month submit just $250 in sales, and you promote to a team coordinator. I want to think that what we covered tonight has huge value in terms of giving you the confidence that it's very much doable and achievable. It comes down to whether or not it's what you want. I enjoyed our questions at the beginning that helped us all sort of have some great thoughts. Oops. And what I want to flip to the last, because we've talked a lot about this. Hold on. See, I told you I did it all backwards tonight, so I've got to go for a slide. This is all extra stuff when I have the time. Oh, this is really bad. This is the page I wanted. But I gave you different things tonight, so I don't want you to think you missed out on anything. You got an updated version. To promote, so that CEO, your team of 3, you and 3 of your personal recruits all must be engaged in the same month. So you might have had someone join you in October, somebody join you tomorrow, and somebody join you at the end of the month. Doesn't matter when they joined, as long as within the same calendar month, you and your 3 personal recruits all submit $250. You become a team coordinator. And once that happens, the first month of being a team coordinator, you're eligible to earn if it's your first time, $100 promote and grow bonus. It's not a shopping spree. It's actually $100 that is deposited into your bank account. As a team coordinator, you'll start earning 3% on the sales of your personal recruits. And it will be like that exponential growth. At the beginning, $1 doubled, it's $2, maybe $4. All right? And as you build your business, and as you encourage others to build their business, and as you grow the size of your team, that $8 will become 16, will become 32, will become 64, will become 128, will become 256, and that's as far as I can remember. But I think you get my point. So you will get a recording of this call. And so I am going to send you this. I'm going to send you this recording, and you will be able to share it with other people. So here's what I want you to do. If you loved it, and if there's value, I want you to share back with me when I send you the video. If there was a real aha moment or something that you felt, and it's okay, Sheila, I think you dropped the ball here. I think you missed on this. Tell me. I love making these calls very interactive, but very much something of value, so that you put down the phone tonight and you say, wow, like I didn't even have to leave my house and I learned so much. So I thank you. There's another question. What's the best way to get people to host? I've been asking friends that go online okay. So I want to answer Andrea's question. You're welcome to hang up if you need to go. I get it, but I'm going to stay on the line and answer this, okay? And so you'll get it in the recording. Andrea, the first way I'm going to answer this, I'm going to pretend you actually asked me. My friends tell me they don't want to host, that nobody wants to go to parties anymore. I'm going to tell you how I would answer that first. I would say, oh my gosh, Mary, I am so glad you told me that, because honestly, you're right. Nobody goes to those kind of parties anymore where we bought silly things just to make ourselves feel good and sit around and spend money we didn't have. That's why mine are more like a kitchen table coffee chat. I think what I do is good work in our community, helping families, educate them about the dangers of chemicals, create a safe haven, if you will. Let parents or homeowners take charge of creating a personal wellness space, if you will, for their family. An event. Yeah, I like that. And so I agree with you. We're not going to be, and no offense, guys, I've sold a lot of products, so I'm calling my own self out on this, okay? We're not going to be looking at little trinkets or putting on pink lipstick. I get it. Not everybody's into that. But today, the environment and home wellness is top of mind. And I think people appreciate a kitchen chat talking about ways to make change, if that makes sense. So when someone said people to host, friends, I think it's as bottom line as this. Mary, you're one of my dear friends. And I love how convenient Facebook is. What would be really helpful for me, and I know I'm asking a lot, I would love for you to host some people around your kitchen table. I need the practice in front of people. It's easy for me to hide behind Facebook. It's easy for my customers to hide behind Facebook. But if I'm really going to take this out to our community, I want to be in the community. I want to walk in the community doing my business. And so I need some people who are willing to go out on a limb for me and actually have me over so that I can get better at what I do. Andrea or Andrea, that's what I would do. You have to ask, and specifically for what you need from people sometimes. Kathy says, should we sell products earned from shopping sprees? No, don't. Kathy, that's a bad habit, and I'll tell you why. you're wiser to take those products you earned from your sprees and use them to build your business with having booking gifts. As a team coordinator, if you were celebrating being a team coordinator with me and you asked me that question, here's what I would tell you. Kathy, you're now a leader with a team of 3. Those shopping sprees, and I'm not talking a 50 or 100. I'm assuming you've recruited people and you've been rewarded and thanked by Norwex with those shopping sprees. One of the best ways to create team culture and team identity is to immediately let everyone feel part of something that they belong to. So as hokey as it sounds, hokey, old-fashioned, a team name, Hercules Heroes. And as a gesture to commit to the idea that you are now building this team, a community. Give back to the community that serves you. Identify something that speaks to your heart, a woman's shelter, an animal shelter, a school, an area that is low income and has a teenage shelter, drug shelters. I don't know, whatever speaks to your heart. Use your shopping spree money to make personal care gift baskets. You know, you could imagine making for women who live in a shelter or teenage girls gift sets, a body cloth, a makeup remover cloth, and a baby body cloth wrapped with a ribbon, and doing 10 of those. And saying, from Hercules Heroes, we'd like to make a donation to your shelter so that all women can feel pretty and clean. That's what I would do. Because then I could go back. It wasn't from Sheila Hercules. It wasn't about me. It was my new team. And because I have a team and because my team performed, I got thanked with these shopping sprees. So on behalf of my team, I'm doing something good for the community. Hey, Chantel, my French is really lousy, but c'est belle, eh? C'est belle? Formidable? Oh, I just love to giggle. Oh, Chantal, you should be rolling on the floor laughing now. All right. Anyways, that is what I would do. Okay. Good night, everybody. Gosh, you've almost been with me an hour and a half. Look, and I want you to keep coming back on these promote calls if you need to. Okay? But I tell you, I told you this before. In the first half hour, and you'll understand if you play, go back now and listen to the replay. Promise me you'll do that. I don't know sometimes why I even record them, because sometimes I know if people don't listen to them. Go back and listen to the first half hour. I told you that everything you needed to promote to TC, I gave you in the first half hour. Trust me. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you so very much for joining me. Bye for now.